you guys doing today?
Yeah, we're good, apart from the blizzard and the inevitably never-ending winter of Finland. I mean, you know, there are many worse places to be during a pandemic. Finland's been pretty kind to us so far, but the weather could really, you know, use some work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what you get from living in Finland.
Pretty much.
You chose this.
Should have picked Spain.
Anyway, let's like dive right in. It's like the last couple of weeks before your new album comes out, Resident Human. I'm guessing that you're all very excited about that.
We are.
Definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would be surprising if you would say no, but
You've
already.
I think at this point we're all pretty used to the album, and it almost feels like old news at this point because we've been rehearsing like absolutely crazy. We've done 3 to 4 rehearsals a week, and you know the stuff's sounding amazing in a live setting. And I think we're just excited to see how people react. I mean, the singles we've done, they're not reflexive of everything on the records. That they kind of show maybe 50% of the moods that it goes through, but there are some really cool surprises, I think, left on there that people haven't heard yet. So it's going to be fun getting those out and seeing how people react.
I agree. Now, overall, the reactions on the singles, I have the impression that they've been very positive. Yeah. You also shared like quite some like background of like the themes and lyrics of the songs, and they all seem like they're very much rooted in kind of contemporary issues. That's sort of for the whole record, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it ended up being, there was an element of the kind of social commentary that we had on Moving Backwards. Movement specifically dealt with the aftermath of George Floyd's murder and what happened socially, especially online, and how we ended up with this binary separation for most people, where everyone was getting extremely angry and there was a lot of conflation and real unwillingness to listen, even though that the central theme, which was about the wrongful killing by police of an innocent civilian and then lying about it afterwards, was an issue that I think everybody agrees, or call it 99.9% of people agree, is absolutely unacceptable in any given situation. You ended up with all this these bizarre sub-arguments, which ended up with a lot of people just acting like there's no way forward and there's nothing practically that can be done to improve the situation, where of course there absolutely is and there should be. And physically, with the speed of information these days, I think it's important that we don't forget what happened, because this is something that keeps happening. And I think that no matter how people want to kind of try and spread it out, and it's different from country to country, but systemic racism is absolutely an ongoing problem in society that should be spoken about. And funnily enough, I did an interview a couple of weeks ago with an Italian journalist, and one of the questions he asked me was, do I think that progressive metal is a good place to talk about politics? And no, it's a terrible place to talk about politics. Like, if our only goal was to call for activism, we should probably make more accessible music, or maybe something that more people are going to listen to or hear or understand. But at the same time, I think arts should be able to talk about social issues. And I think especially in a time where we're seeing this social media division between right and left, I think it serves an even more crucial role to do that. So there was one side of it which was about this outward view on society, which was very similar to what Moving Backwards had, and the other side of it was more about personal growth. And I think just making peace with our existence. And that was all inspired from this Dan Simmons series, Hyperion Cantos. And in Dissipating, that song was about the indifference of the universe, and how, you know, in our very small, seemingly insignificant way, that there's significance to be found just in every choice we make and all we do. And frankly, even if there isn't, it's all we're ever going to know, so we probably should try and find it. And just how, if you cut past all the rest of it and trying to find this cosmic meaning and this bigger connection to something wider, which some people feel and some don't, I think you're still left with a sense of gratitude for everything we have, because just none of it is a given, and we probably shouldn't take it for granted. I think Hyperion had a similar kind of outcome, talking about mortality and coming to terms with our relationship with life and death, and contemplating things like, eventually we're not going to be here anymore, and far enough in the future, people won't even remember our names. It will be like we never existed. And trying to make peace with these values, which it sounds really negative, but the album actually is trying to propose an alternative to nihilism with just gratitude and I guess just finding more purpose in the short lives we lead.
Overall, I find it really interesting how you managed to get a lot of the lyrics and themes to be like so contemporary, while a lot of it kind of stems from like fiction you've been reading and stuff like that. I kind of really think it fits with your kind of music, like with the kind of prog metal, prog rock thing, because it's something that makes you think. It's not the easiest music, it's not the easiest lyrics. So I think it's perfect here.
Thank you. We think so too. And honestly, it took months trying to come up with lyrical themes for this. We finished all the music already at the end of April, May last year.
Like April, I guess.
And after that, it still took us like another 4 or 5 months to find the right thing for the songs, because especially for Dissipating and Hyperion, we just thought that these songs, they have this real sense of there's something grandiose, and this really, it's a mood that should be thought-provoking, and trying to find topics that fit that, and then a way to express that in a way which was true to our style, but also honoured the topics we were trying to include. We really spent a long time on that. I think the lyrics to Movement, I think I redrafted those over 30 times, and that was one of the easier ones to write. So it took a very long time to get the vocals into shape for the record.
Well, good and interesting to hear that there's as much time and effort and grade of difficulty put in the lyrics as is put in the music.
Yeah, well, we just always want to aim to do something we haven't done before, and I think also we're both in terms of the art of the music and what we want to say lyrically. I think we're just trying to figure it out, and we're trying to get as close to an objective truth as it's possible to get. I think there's a perception by many that everything's been done in contemporary art and guitar-based music, and I think that's utter bullshit. I think there's more and better technology now than we've ever had previously, and also we've got these really linear guidelines of what contemporary music should be in terms of structure and in terms of harmony, and even in terms of things like tone and the guitar you should be playing, and the way you're supposed to hit the snare drum and the angle it's supposed to be at, or whatever it might be, and all of this stuff. I mean, why are we sticking to these rules so fundamentally? Like, I think there's a ton of cool stuff to explore, and we keep trying to find at least an angle someone hasn't looked at before.
Yeah, I kind of feel you on that, or understand you on that, because there's sort of the same thing going in like photography or concert photography and stuff, that you need to have certain rules, and if you don't do it, you're not doing it well. And yeah, I get you.
and experiment, even if it results in failure, it's still, and honestly, mostly it does. Like, we try loads of stuff and it normally doesn't work, but when it does, we sometimes find something really cool that maybe someone else hasn't tried. And I think the freedom to fail is what creativity is in its purest form. And it seems, especially with the release schedules we're trying to push artists down, we're trying to remove that and that risk from the creative process, and I think that's a mistake.
Talking about like picking in on doing something differently, is there like something on this album that one of you or all of you or whatever did differently in like recording or writing the music? I'm pretty sure I haven't picked up on everything, so I
think I've been talking a lot. Maybe somebody could talk about how he approached the drums, because that was pretty different.
Yeah, it was a bit different compared to Moving Backwards. I think we had almost, well, I'm not sure if this is true, but it felt like we had even less time to do the arrangements. And you know, we work on the drum arrangements together a lot. So James does a lot of programming with MIDI drums, and he's really good at that. But then again, I have to translate that to, you know, real drums, and we share and bounce a lot of ideas back and forth. And I think we had a pretty challenging touring schedule ahead of us when we started planning the recording of this album. And of course, all the tours postponed or cancelled. So in the end, we had more time, but we didn't know that when we started the process. Yeah. So it was really a tight schedule. But I think so that made kind of difference compared to moving backwards, because also some stuff we really had to just come up with some ideas to in the studio. Like we were already recording. There were some songs that I had most of the ideas down. I had even demoed them at our rehearsal place, but there were some blanks really in the songs.
Like Fugue.
Like a whole song. Yeah, Fugue was like it was the last demo that James made, and when he first came up with it, I didn't even listen to it because I was so busy with the other arrangements. I was really concentrating on them. I had a couple of weeks until the studio, and I really didn't even want to listen to the demo. And it was the last studio day, it was Sunday, and we had bits of Dissipating still to record, I think, and then some other song. And then we had to do this one extra song. So that was really spontaneous. That was really different. And the demo drums that James had were completely different. So I kind of smashed the whole song that morning and came up with actually pretty simple solutions, considering, you know, compared to the other stuff. It's quite a simple song, you know, in a way. So that's yeah. So it was a bit different for me, and actually the other guys can't compare because they weren't there on moving backwards.
You're quite known to write quite difficult songs. I seem to remember that you, James, were talking in one of your videos about one of the singles that it took like 8 hours to record a certain part. And I remember you at the release show of Moving Backwards that you were feeling embarrassed about mistakes you made and such live, even though no one noticed. That made me wonder, of the new album, is there any song you're really looking forward to or not forward to play live?
Honestly, at the moment, but firstly about making mistakes, I think I've got a lot more comfortable with that, having toured so much. Because I mean, at that point, we played maybe, before Moving Backwards, I think we were just talking in the last interview, maybe 15 gigs max the year before.
Yeah.
So we were kind of new
done
to
maybe 20 shows total.
Yeah,
like,
good point.
At that point,
well, we were really new, and we were green around the gills, and you know, we were so focused on not fucking up that we were very still on stage. But you know, by the end of 2019, we were just going absolutely fucking nuts. And especially when you joined the bands, you know, it really started to change with the stage presence, and it became a lot more kind of a rock show than this really careful prog thing. And it wasn't about us trying to be pretentious before. I think we were just, this was really ambitious compared to anything we'd done before. So just trying to get to a point we felt comfortable enough doing it that we could really just let loose and go for it. That's changed. So I'm definitely more comfortable with screwing up now than I used to be. But in terms of things I'm looking forward to, I mean, Resident Human, the last track on the record, we've been having a lot of fun with that in the rehearsals, and especially when it comes back in with the really big crashing riff at the ends. That's just something we want to play in a really big room with lots of people, because I think that's just going to feel fucking huge. But what about you? Do you have a...
I'm really looking forward to play the whole thing live. It's been like, you know, like James said, we have been rehearsing a lot now, even though we have no shows. We just like to rehearse the material and then learn the songs well. So when we get on stage, we will be ready for it, and we are really enjoying actually the rehearsals now. So it's great, and I'm really looking forward to play, you know, any bit of it.
What about you guys? Do you have a personal favorite that you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward also for the whole album. It sounded pretty good on the rehearsal already, and I'm really eager to get on the gigs playing that stuff. There's no favorites for me anymore on the record. I think the whole record, and also I haven't played the old stuff too. I just joined the band last summer, so
Jussi's our secret weapon.
yeah. So I'm looking forward for the old stuff too.
I think there was this like a moment at some point when we first got through playing the entire album with the band, that we were discussing the older material in preference, like comparing it to the new ones, and we were like feeling that really all the songs before Resident Human felt like playing some children's songs in a way, because you know there's a kind of a shift in the arrangements and what James has done with the guitars and bass interacting with each other. The drums are doing opposed to that, and it's quite different from anything that this band has ever done before.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course the mileage, especially with you guys, especially playing like the 5-6 years with this material, people changing in the band a little bit, but then, you know, just getting through the album as it is, it feels really amazing to be able to play it, and you just want to take it out there, play it live, because then it's going to be, again, different. It's different when you play in the rehearsal room and you kind of know your environment, and then you go out on stage and all of a sudden it feels like you're completely new to the game in a way, because the situation is different, energy from an actual audience being in the same room is different. So I'm just also really looking forward to play the entire album live. But there are sections, like for example, the movement, kind of overall, the whole song is trickier than anything, like all the previous songs combined. You know? And it has so much stuff and such crazy stuff in it. And
especially on the bass.
Yeah, it's really fast and wicked, but then again, you enjoy the challenge and you get a kick out of just kind of making a true song, and every time you do it, you're gonna do it a little bit better. So we just want to really share that like progress of the band with the people.
Yeah. Something that I'm personally really looking forward to, at least. You recently announced that, well, your tour with Apocalyptica is like moving again. Not too surprising, but it's a really nice package, but it kind of made me wonder if there's like some like touring package that you guys would absolutely love, some bands you would love to tour with.
That's a really great question. It's great touring with Apocalyptica because at least last time we played together, I got to sing with them, so that's fun. It's just a different thing to try, and it's very different style music to what we make, so that's been really enjoyable. Plus we love the guys. But I think if we could pick any bands in the world, I think top of my list at the moment would be Carnival or Meshuggah. We were actually going to support Meshuggah last year at a gig in, was it Switzerland and Luxembourg?
Luxembourg and Switzerland, yes. Yeah, 2 shows.
And of course, you know, all the other gigs that we were supposed to do have been postponed. That one was just cancelled. So hopefully we get another chance to in the future, because I love their music. I've been a fan for a long time, and mainly just selfishly, I want to watch them play every night. I think that would be really, really fun. But I guess we've all got different ones. What do you think?
I think Meshuggah would be a really good, nice fit, like audience-wise also, because they are, you know, we are in the same scene loosely. We are not as metal, of course, as they are, but
nowhere near.
Yeah, but of course, like I think the same audience could easily enjoy us and them. So yeah, I would almost say that it would be a dream package.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you guys? Do you have anything in the back of your mind you're thinking that would be game over stuff?
Honestly, I'm just so much looking forward to do any tour that I cannot even make such high hopes of choosing like the best band to tour with. I'm just, you know, bring back the gigs, please.
Yeah. Whatever troubadour we're
what these guys said.
I don't know, lately seems like there's lately more and more like really good Finnish prog music being like released and made. Maybe it would be a cool thing to sometime like have like a all Finnish prog metal tour or something like that.
Sure. That'd be amazing. Yeah, sign us up.
Yeah.
I keep thinking like I think Finns are blind to it sometimes because of course this is normal for you, but you know, coming from the UK, if you go and see a covers band in a pub in Greater London, there's about a 50-50 chance they're going to be fucking terrible. Like as in so bad it physically hurts. Drummer can't keep time, singer can't sing. Because so many bands are untrained, like people like me, they start playing in garages when they're kids and then they get offered a few shows. But here, everyone's been to school. You know, you've got free education at a really high standard. Even your high schools have instruments. We didn't. We had a snare drum with a hole in it. I'm not even exaggerating. Like I remember watching some guys stab a drumstick for it, and then 3 years later they still hadn't replaced the skin. So you know the standard is just so different, and here the talent is just absolutely insane. That people are so capable and so technical compared to what I'm used to back home. Like I think Finland should be really, really proud of their musicians, and maybe they should shut slightly fewer of the venues they get to play in. Just personal opinion.
I think we all follow you on that. One more thing before we round this up. I noticed that you've been doing a lot of Insta Live videos with different artists. That made me just kind of wonder. I've been trying to follow some here and there, but it just made me wonder if any of you have like an absolute favorite moments of one of those Insta Live.
One of them occurred basically last time we did one with Caligula's horse, I think, when the guys mentioned eating hot sauce. Actually, it was in the comments of the Insta Live. Someone asked about like if the guys have recovered of a hot sauce stream or something like that. I had to scroll back and I asked the guys, Jim and they're like, what is this about? And they mentioned that they really like eating hot sauce that is so hot that your face is going to melt away or something like this. I was like, oh, really? Should you guys maybe possibly do some just now? And the bass player, Dale, he was like, oh, I don't know. Well, okay, I'll fetch it. And then it just went on with it. And me and Santeri laughing at the other end, you know, and people just going crazy in the comments also laughing about it. And it was really fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. And because of the time zone difference, you know, we were in Helsinki, they were in Brisbane.
Yeah.
We were having morning coffee and they had their evening wine and some hot sauce. So it was that was really cool.
Yeah, it's cool to see like bands and artists doing all those different kinds of things, being creative with their, well, basically the time they have on their hands now.
Yeah, it's basically just the interaction that you would normally have when you're touring with other people or just meeting them up down on the road or whatever. And now that we're just home in Finland and at our homes or Santeri's home, we just can't do it. But this way we get to kind of interact with the fans, but also interact with other bands and kind of keep up the network at the same time. And it's just fun and really easy to do it. I hope people enjoy it as much as we do doing them.
Yeah, I think it's fun to see a little bit sort of behind the scenes, like things we normally wouldn't catch. I mean, guys from different bands challenging each other, eating hot sauce and stuff. I mean, it's not something you normally see.
But yeah, it's like being on the backstage with the band, actually, in a way, because guys having a chat and discussing life and music and whatever, eating hot sauce. So,
but it's a great scene. I mean, I think I don't really have any other frame of reference because we've only ever done prog, but all the bands we toured with are just really, really nice people, and we've ended up with lots of friends from some of the tours we've done, like Soen particularly. From the first show we played with them, they came up to me and Santeri backstage, like, hey, we really like your band and the album's great. It's so good to have you on the tour. And we're still in regular contact with them, even though that was, well,
2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago already. And we've got a kind of a group chat. We talk in fairly regularly. And I think that's just amazing because I think there's this perception that in some kind of fields of music, it's almost a competition, and in prog, this doesn't feel like that. I think everyone's just excited to see what everyone else comes up with next, and we're just having fun with it.
That's cool. Well, I guess we can sort of round this up. Anything you guys would love to add still?
Yeah, listen to the album. However you want to do it. Buy the album, stream the album, pirate the album, but don't tell us you're pirating the album. Otherwise, we'll come down on you hard. But seriously,
come to the shows when we are able to do those.
That too.
Yeah, and buy a hoodie.
And thanks for listening. Please keep it real, you know.
All of that stuff.
Yeah.
And come see Jussi play live. He makes us sound a lot better and look a lot better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Okay, guys. Lots of success with your album release, and hope to see you guys in like real life sometime soon.
Thank you so much. You too. Let's have a beer in the future and take care. Let's get through this shitty pandemic and get back to some semblance of being able to go outside again without worrying if someone's wearing a mask.
For sure. Have a good day still, guys. Thanks for the talk.
Thanks, mate.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.